From LALATE News Headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big morning of mornings at LALATE with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In this recording, we go over that fourth stimulus check and how much you're going to get. That monthly stimulus check that starts in the month of July. We'll go over the breaking news forming this morning and how it impacts your fourth stimulus check this Monday morning. Then we cut to fifth stimulus and why the Federal Reserve representative out of Atlanta had a big statement today that could impact your fifth stimulus. So this is your SSI, SSDI, Social Security and Railroad Benefits lift coming this fall. Incredible great news across the board. I'm really excited for you. And then in the middle of this recording, we go over the big money land your bank account today, in the mailbox today, and the deadline that looms by the end of the day that you need to do something to get tens of thousands of dollars. It's a great morning. The toast is toasting. The butter is buttering. I'm here. You're here. I'm excited for a big morning and a big week. And we're going to get it together. We're going to get to the finish line and we're going to get to the details starting right now, direct from Los Angeles on Mornings at LALATE. Toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, the coffee is brewing, and I'm here, you're here, and we're all here for a big fourth stimulus check update of 2021. This is Mornings LA. Hope you're having a beautiful morning, direct from Los Angeles. It's cool and breezy today. And how's the weather where you are? Hope it's wonderful. In this recording, we go over the fourth stimulus check update of 2021. We go over the big money, when you're going to get it, how you're going to get it, and why there was breaking news minutes ago that impacts your fourth stimulus check. Incredible great news. Then we cut to fifth stimulus and the great news coming out of Atlanta from one of the Fed heads that impacts your fifth stimulus. This is the reform that raises your benefits if you're on SSI, veterans benefits, SSDI, survivor benefits, and more. Incredible great news. That's the second half of this recording. And then in the middle of the recording, we go over the big money landing directly to you automatically. And the other money you have to get, and the deadline to get it is today. This is LALATE, the only 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, financial news channel, the only one of its kind. Live in the morning, taped in the afternoons, and 24 hours a day with a live feed overnight. Thank you for joining me on that overnight show, 9 hours. It was a big hit last night. And I'm back with you right after this recording with another live feed that's on Crypto Mornings. So subscribe. I want you part of this channel. 400,000 subscribers. We're just about 100 away. Also, like this video and consider becoming a member. Let's cut right to the breaking news in this jam-packed 30-minute video. Stay to the end. All right, first let's go to that monthly stimulus check. It got a major twist today. It got a major twist on Thursday. And there's more anticipated changes today as well. What's going on? When we look at the fourth stimulus check, that monthly stimulus package, there's two proposals, the House versus Senate. And the House one is getting some modifications in lieu of what's happening tangentially with the CDC and states across the board. The House proposal and the Senate proposal, let's compare and contrast, and let's go over the breaking details minutes ago. So the House proposal provides a stimulus check for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. That means that if there are 3 more months left of the pandemic, as we may have thought just a few days ago, then you would get 3 more months of stimulus checks, and then stimulus checks for the remainder of 1 year. The Senate proposal, on the other hand, provides stimulus checks from July to December. So the House proposal, pandemic plus 1 year, is where the major changes are coming with the breaking news this morning. I'll be going over that in 1 second. If you're in the live chat just after 9:40 on the West Coast, quarter to 12 on the East Coast, jump in the live chat and vote House or Senate, but not just yet. You got to see the monthly amounts and hear the breaking news from minutes ago. So the House amount is $1,000 per month. After the first month, the $2,000. The Senate amount is unknown. But word on the street is this is the Senate amount. Wow. Incredible great news. Either $2,000 a month over 6 months, $12,000, or $1,400 a month over 6 months, $8,400. Now, before you vote on House versus Senate, let's go over the breaking news and how that impacts the calculations. The breaking news is that this morning, more of corporate America across the country is saying that the mask mandate is now lifted. Target, Home Depot, Lowe's, Trader Joe's are among the major retailers who have announced that the mask mandate is now lifted for vaccinated people. This comes after the CDC's guidelines on Thursday announcing the mask mandate was lifted, the president's announcement on Friday that the mask mandate was lifted, and minutes ago in the state of New York, Governor Cuomo said he will adopt the mask mandate from the CDC. In California, where the Democrat governor is the head of the state, in a state in which it's a Democratic governor, he says the mask mandate is gone in June. So why does this impact force stimulus? Because of the House proposal, which says pandemic plus 1 year. It doesn't refer to how many months is left of the virus. Virus ain't going away. It's how many more months legislatively the pandemic's around. And most are now thinking that the pandemic may be legislatively gone by July when the vote occurs, which means that the House proposal would not give you pandemic plus 1 year. It would just give you 1 year, 12 months of stimulus checks. And 12 months at the House proposal, $1,000 a month, means 12 months, $12,000 or $13,000. The comparison is the Senate plan, which is 6 months for nearly, potentially, the exact same amount of money. Suddenly, the Senate plan looks a lot more attractive. And now, if you're in the live chat, vote Senate or House. Senate or House. Which one do you think in lieu of the breaking details? Now, let's go over the other items of the forced stimulus that you need to know. When, how, where, and how you're going to receive it. Remember, I'm a reporter, so I just report the news. I'm not representing it. I'm not legislating, and I'm not voting. But they represent that the vote would be in July for the month of July. This is a monthly stimulus check that would land your bank account every month. July, then August. In July, for July. There would be no waves of stimulus checks. We can't do waves because it's a monthly stimulus check. And who gets it? You get it. If you make less than $75,000, you get the forced stimulus check. You make $150,000 or less as a married couple, you get the forced stimulus check. Just double it. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, you get the forced stimulus check. Anyone who got the third would get the fourth. And if the household is 4 or less, you get the stimulus check. Just quadruple it. The amount of the stimulus check is the same for minor dependents, adult dependents, and everyone else. The checks are not income, they're not taxable, and they would land month after month. They are currently underway in a reconciliation process, currently underway a 2-step, 2-bill, 2-month process, where the vote would be in July. And away we go. That's your forced stimulus check update of 2021. But stay with me, because this is literally a jam-packed 30-minute video with very important details about big money coming to you even today. So stay to the very end and get a pen and paper ready, because I got a lot of stuff to tell you throughout this recording. Let me give you a preview of the second half of this recording. One of the federal heads out of Atlanta spoke minutes ago about interest rates and inflationary rates. And this is big news when we talk about fifth stimulus coming up in the second half of the recording. Fifth stimulus raises your benefits up if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, survivor benefits. One time, a major lift up, and then adds a new benchmark. And that new benchmark is inflation. So why are the comments from the Fed head out of Atlanta very good news? On top of that incredibly great news from Jeremy Siegel last Friday, I have that incredible detail of how it can literally change your life, and it's coming up in the second half of this recording. All right, let's go to the meat and potatoes of the big money land in your bank account today, this week, next week, some automatic and some not automatic. When I refer to donut money, and I refer to money that you don't have to do anything. You can just have that donut. If it's a morning, maybe it's a chocolate eclair. You just sit back and have that donut and just watch that money land. It's automatic. Then I'm going to refer to tough love moments where you have to do something, and you may have to do it now because the deadline's looming. Let's get to the great news, and the great news starts with $5,000 to $20,000 available for you right today. When third stimulus was passed, I said to you that you're going to get a $14 stimulus check. But the big money for you is this: rent, utilities, homeowners assistance, mortgage assistance, and homeowners utility bills. And then I did not want you going from second stimulus check to third stimulus check to fourth stimulus check. I wanted you to get this other money because it's a lot of money. And guess what? The great news is it's landing this week. It landed last week and it'll be landing next week as well. It is money for rent, and the first item of rent, how much? About $5,000. About 4 to 6 months of rent, then a couple hundred to $1,000 for utilities. Money also for mortgage assistance and also homeowners' utilities. Where do you get it? I hope you have that pen and paper ready. Let's get to the details. The pen is ready, and where do you find that money? City Hall, City Housing Authority. County Hall, County Housing Authority. State Hall, State Housing Authority. The words you use is rent assistance because of COVID or Biden Economic Recovery Act. You do not use the word stimulus. They don't understand that word. And go get that money. Then also get the utilities, mortgage assistance, and utility assistance. Next, SNAP is absolutely incredible. So what is SNAP? SNAP is money for food. And how do you get it? Department of Agriculture. Department of Agriculture. Call 211 and ask for DOA. And how much money is SNAP? It's absolutely incredible. It's about $14,000 to $16,000 for a family of 4 in Hawaii. Why so much? Because of 2 executive orders, a Biden executive order and a Trump executive order, which collectively raised it 15% for 1 year. Which brings me to an incredible detail right now. First, we realize only 11 minutes of this video, we've got to $5,000 to $20,000 of rent and SNAP. We're doing incredible, great news. But I got a tough love moment to start right now. And that tough love moment is the following. While the rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and utility assistance is incredible great news for you to get right now, it's first come, first serve. And it's what I called and why I birthed the expression in January, a purple power or purple hawk moment. Because as a hawk, you need to pounce to get that money before other people do get it. And there will be, what I also coined the expression, a stimulus stampede. People swarming to get the money. It's first come, first serve. That brings me to another tough love moment, a reality check, which is under the 4 stimulus package in July, these items, this money won't be coming back. So they won't do another round of rent, utility, mortgage assistance, or utility assistance. Moreover, major reality check is that the eviction moratorium and mortgage forbearance will be going away in September from Democrats because they want you to get this money for the rent now, and they're going to get rid of the eviction moratorium and mortgage forbearance in September. Which brings us to some donut moments, not one but 2. And the first one got an incredible message to me by DM from a wife who says, my husband's going to get $5,000 from that. Thank you so much, LA. So what is it? If you were overpaid by your state, an excess of unemployment benefits to no fault of your own due to a computer malfeasance, you're getting that money back if you had to repay it. What happened? The Department of Labor, the federal government, has stepped in and has ordered states to return the money to you. How much money? Let's go over the details. This is where states sent you an excess of unemployment benefits, a surplus, an error, because of a computer malfeasance, and then said to you, return it back to us, and then you did. It's usually thousands of dollars. The federal government has now stepped in and ordered the states to return the money back to you. You'll get it in the way in which you got it the first way. And to know when and where your particular state was returning it back to you, you need to reach out to your state. Incredible, great news. Which brings me to another donut moment, and we got clarification and new breaking news about this, ironically on a Saturday night. And if you didn't catch it over the weekend, let me give you the details. IRS has now confirmed that there's thousands of dollars landing in your bank account or mailbox starting today and over the rest of this month. And it's being separated across 3 phases. Phase 1 is individual tax preparers whose tax return is just their name, no dependents, and no other refunds, what they call a simple return. Phase 2 is that same group of people but may have dependents on the tax return. And phase 3 are married couple. Phase 1 starts today with those checks landing today and started also last week. Phase 2 will start by the end of this week, and phase 3 will be the end of this month. What are you getting? Thousands of dollars. How are you getting it? In the mailbox, likely in a white or beige envelope with a beige check in there from either IRS or Department of Treasury with the subject line refund. And how much money is it? Thousands of dollars. Let's go over the detail. IRS is returning back to you taxes you paid on a 2020 tax return for your unemployment benefits to IRS. So here's an example. Let's say you filed a 2020 tax return. Your unemployment benefits was $9,000, of which you paid a $5,000 total tax bill to IRS, of which $4,000 was taxes on the unemployment. You're getting a $4,000 check back automatically. Donut money, donut moment, you don't have to do anything. The only case in which it lands in a direct deposit account is if that was on file with IRS on the 2020 return. Which brings us now to our major second tough love moment. And that is the following. If you took out for federal taxes while receiving your unemployment benefits in 2020, you need to file a federal tax return, IRS tax return, personal tax return by the end of today, Monday, or you're not getting that money back. Here's an example. Let's say you took out $100 a week over 10 weeks. That's $1,000 for federal taxes. You have to file that tax return by the end of today and request that money back from IRS on that federal tax return. And now let's go to the great news about the children. The great news about the children is that if you have a child 5 to newborn, you're getting $3,600 or $300 a month starting the month of July per child. Great news. And then if that child is 17 to 6, you're getting $3,000 a month starting the month of July, $3,000 a year, paid $250 a month starting the month of July per child if 2 events occurred. Event number 1, you make less than $75,000, and event number 2, and IRS knows that child exists and is with you at that respective address. Which brings us to 3 major tough love moments. Now, before I get to these tough love moments, I want you to understand that I started Tough Love Moments about a week ago, and the deadline for these tough love moments is today. Will I be covering it after today? Probably not. And you're going to see a little bit later in this recording how I'm going to give the final very tough love moment throughout today's recordings. And tomorrow I'm probably going to leave the subject because there won't be anything else for me to say on the subject matter. So tough love moment number 1. You're a single parent and you got 3 kids under the age of 5. You're going to get $10,000. But if you think IRS doesn't know that those children exist, you're getting absolutely 0. Here's what it issue. If you never file a tax return and you don't believe IRS knows those children are with you, when July comes around, you will get 0. You won't be able to fix the situation at all. The only way to fix the situation is by the end of today, Monday, by filing a federal tax return and listing those children. Go to the tax preparer right away and list those children and get that tax return on file. Tough love moment number 2 is that if you do file tax returns every year but never list that child, you're not going to get paid for that child if you don't file that 2020 tax return. This often is an example where the child was born in the last year or the child was previously on someone else's tax return. IRS doesn't know the child exists with you. You're not going to get paid in July. You must file that tax return with IRS by the end of today. And tough love moment number 3 is that if you do file a tax return every year, but in 2019, you listed yourself and the child, and you made too much money, making you ineligible for this money in July, you're not going to get it if you took a nosedive in earnings in 2020. This example is where you made too much money in 2019, but did make very little money in 2020, making you eligible for the check. The problem is, if you don't file the 2020 tax return, IRS is going off the most recently filed tax return, which is 2019, which made you ineligible. Which brings me to the major tough love moment, and I have to say this with a lot of love, but also a lot of stern warning. People, when asking where is their third stimulus check, I think after tomorrow I won't be covering the subject anymore because there is only one answer about that subject matter. If you sit back and have looked at, let me say it this way, you have to file a tax return by the end of today requesting a missing first, second, or third stimulus check, or a member of a household's missing stimulus check. If you do not, you're not getting the stimulus check. IRS has made very clear that you should stop looking and tracking the stimulus check because at this point it's considered lost and you need to request it. So there are no more waves of stimulus checks. There's no other reason to track the stimulus check. It's not coming, and the only thing you can do now is request it, and that tax return is due by the end of the day. Which brings me to a major tough love moment, and I want to look you right in the eye. I understand that some of you don't make enough money and you're not required to file a tax return. I got it. And I understand some of you are on SSI and SSDI and you're not required to file a tax return. I got it. That's different from what I'm talking about. Every American can voluntarily file a tax return. But what's at issue here is IRS has made emphatically clear, and can't make it any clearer than they have, that if you want particular stimulus items, which I've detailed in this video, and you need to fix something, you must file that tax return. And you must file that tax return by the end of today. And there you go. So rent, utilities, food, internet, incredible great news. It's available right now. It's not expiring by the end of today. If you look out for it and you can't find it, don't worry, because we have the community page. It's at news.la.com/community. It appears in the description to this video with an emoji of a house. It sends you to a web page with a series of cats at the top of the page. Reach out to the volunteers. They can help you with rent and utilities, SNAP, and homeowners assistance. They cannot help you with taxes or unemployment. Reach out to them. And in 60 seconds, I'll be back with big news about what's going on with your fourth stimulus check and the breaking news about fifth stimulus. Stay with me. I'll be back in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals. Reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Mornings LA with incredible big news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. I'm really excited for you. Good morning. How are you? The toast is toasted, the butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here, and I got more updates about your fourth stimulus check of 2021 and your fifth stimulus coming up in the second half of this recording. But first, subscribe. This is LALATE. Wow. 400,000 subscribers, less than about 100 away. 1 year and a few days. We've done an incredible run, and we're far from over. I don't want you to miss a single video, and I'm back on live with you just after this video with Crypto Mornings. Also, like this video. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Get access to the PDFs of all the details of all the stimulus packages. Let's cut to fifth stimulus right now and the breaking news across the board for fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus, like fourth stimulus, is a two-bill, two-step, two-month process. And instead of adding stimulus checks, they're adding SSI reform. It's in September. So let's go over the details of how it works and why the breaking news today is incredible great news. So the SSI reform would start in September. And what would it involve? Let's broadly go over it before we go over the specifics. They would increase your benefit limits, then remove the asset limit, add an inflationary benchmark, that's where the breaking news is hitting, remove the income exclusion, and remove the marriage penalty. All right, let me go over the details, and I'm going to slow it down when we get to the calculation, because this is really exciting, great news. First, who's you? If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, survivor benefits, veterans, SSA, anything and all that, and if you're on multiple benefits, this is you. They're going to raise you up to a big new number in this law. That's what they're first going to do. Then they're going to give you a new benchmark. That benchmark is inflation. Now, you know what a benchmark is. Every December, you get a letter saying next year, your benefits are going to go up 1%, 2%. So over the last 2 weeks, we've talked about inflation being 2.5% to 4%. We had incredible great news on Friday, where Jeremy Siegel, leading economist and professor at the School of Wharton School of Business, was asked about this 2 to 4% inflation rate. More about his comments in a second. But let's go over how this works. They would raise your benefits up, and then in December, let's say inflation is 4%. Then your benefits would raise up another 4% next year. Now understand that benefits go up or stay flat. They don't step down. There's either a step up or step down. So let's say in 2 years from now, the inflation rate is 0. Your benefits would not step down. They would stay the same. If the year after that it's 5, it would jump up. If the year after that 0, it stays flat. That's how benefits work. That's how a benchmark works. Well, what Jeremy Siegel said on Friday was he doesn't think that the step up, that the basis, that the inflationary rate this fall will be 2 to 4%. He said 20%. This is huge because if your benefits were raised up by fifth stimulus and then there's another 20% of inflation kicking in December, that would literally lift your benefits up an additional 20%. And guess what? Yes, it would never step down. That is absolutely incredible great news. Now, what happened this morning? Well, very fascinating report came out of the Atlanta Federal Reserve President Raphael Bostic. And he was asked about inflationary rates because analysts are trying to figure out where is inflation going to be. And he said, at the moment, I'm not going to really focus on inflation, that they could be higher. He does not particularly know, and that we really don't know right yet. He was asked about the consumer price index, which I detailed last week on this channel, I think it was a week ago on Tuesday, where it came in at 4.2%, which signals that inflation could be far in excess of 3% this year. And Bostic's own Atlanta Fed tracker is now putting second quarter growth at 10.5% when it was 4.2% last week. That's saying he think we're going to go up 300% from where we are now. This is huge, great news, because let's say inflation goes up 10% in December. Your benefits will be raised by the fifth stimulus and then another 10%. Wow, this is why you want inflation as your benchmark. Let's continue with fifth stimulus. Then they're going to remove the asset cap, dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't stay on benefits and keep more than about $3,000 on account. You're going to need this gone if you get those stimulus checks. Then they're going to remove the income cap. The income cap is dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work. They're going to remove it. And so if you want to go work, make $1,000, $2,000 a month, they'll let you do it. And finally, the marriage penalty. Love is going to win because the marriage penalty has prevented people from marrying for fear of losing their benefits. In fact, one viewer in the live chat has suffered that consequence. Now love will win. The marriage penalty will be gone. You will no longer suffer for it or be threatened to suffer for it. You can marry your lifetime's love interest and not suffer a loss of benefits. That's fifth stimulus with incredible great news. September. Two-step, two-bill, 2-month process, likely to impact your bank account by about November. Which brings us back to fourth stimulus and the breaking news with fourth stimulus today. A new report revealed this morning in a really sort of buried news article in Politico talked about the midterm elections next year. And guess what? As if it's 2020, guess who's coming back figuratively? The Temple of Doom. The Temple of Doom is coming back because a new report says that Republicans, when campaigning for the midterm election, will ironically not use President Joe Biden as their scapegoat for their arguments, but rather will apparently focus on Nancy Pelosi as the reason why they want to win the House and Senate. Usually use the president and the president's efforts during their first 2 years in office as a reason to campaign for the midterm elections. But new Republican strategists say that Nancy Pelosi is the perfect target. Fascinating. The Temple of Doom is back. Now, here's what's important to know when we're talking about fourth stimulus, and this is very, very good news. We saw over the weekend, we saw last week, and we're going to see it this week, where Republican and Democratic legislators in Congress, in the federal government, and locally, even among governors, have universally agreed that stimulus checks are instruments that work to get you caught up on your past due debts, but that they are totally different instruments than unemployment stimulus and rental stimulus, which both Republicans and Democrats now think need to go away. I told you earlier in this video that rent, mortgage assistance, eviction moratorium, and mortgage forbearance, all rental stimulus, are going away in September. There's no likelihood they're coming back. And Republicans and Democrats agree upon this. When we look at unemployment stimulus, which is FPUC, PEUC, and PUA, the great news is that all this economic data in the last week, the reopening of the country, the getting back to normal, is issues that impact unemployment stimulus, but not stimulus checks. Why? Even Republican governors are saying, we're reopening our state. I want to end unemployment stimulus, but I want to send you a stimulus check because you're behind on your bills. It's great news because finally people are understanding that stimulus checks are for people who are behind on bills, need to get caught back, that as the country opens, they're still behind on their bills. They're behind on their bills, and that's why when we look at the Senate versus House plan, the Senate plan is more along the lines of both what Republican and Democratic governors like, which is a big cash infusion faster to get you caught up on those bills quicker rather than later. It's important to understand that the Senate proposal and the House proposal do both provide monthly stimulus checks, but when you look at the Senate proposal, you understand that it's more in line with both what Republican and Democratic legislators think is the issue. People behind on their bills that need to get caught up with a very fast, larger cash infusion and get them caught up and get caught up right away. And there you go. That's your fourth stimulus check update of 2021, those monthly stimulus checks, your fifth stimulus check update of 2021. The markets are down slightly. The Dow is down slightly currently at the moment, less than 1%. The NASDAQ is down about 1% as tech is sliding. Crypto, we'll cover in just 15 minutes, 10 minutes from now as I'm back live on air. But I want you to subscribe. This is LALATE. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Live shows. I'm back next with you with big stimulus updates on noontime LA, which is 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And then we go into our afternoon tape shows. Subscribe, like this video if you haven't, and stay informed, stay focused, consider becoming a member, and stay with LA for more.